All right. All right, welcome back to the Spurs and Spreads podcast. Part two of the Turkey Tour starting right now with our main guest, Mr. Clay Beck, original Mossy Oak Turkey Thug, Clay Beck. Glad to have you here, Clay. Man, we're really glad to have you. We still got Scott Pulowski, Chaz Brown, and Patrick Kastman on. And look who's joining his one of his right hand guys here, Mr. Brody Boes, is coming to the stage as well. What's up, Brody? How you doing, man? We're live.
Good. How's it going,
How
guys?
you got your connection going good?
We're good. We're
Good,
good.
man. Well, look, guys, for those of y'all that don't know, this is Clay Beck and Brody Boes. Clay is right now the main guy for White Oak Outfitters, and it's a place that we like to call Turkey Heaven. Okay. This place is unbelievable. Clay has seen more turkeys die than we've ever dreamed of seeing. So he is somebody we've been dying to get. We've been close friends with him. We've gone to his place the past few years, and all the pictures you see from the turkey tour, they come from your guy right here, Mr. Brody Boes. Really want to talk to him a little bit about some of his videography stuff. But first, we're going to dive right in and start asking Mr. Clay a few questions. I know you guys have some questions, Chaz, that y'all want to talk. Clay, I know we'd love to hear a little bit about kind of from back in the OG days. You know, I feel like the Turkey Thug thing probably would have blown up now, but that was going on back in the day. But how did those group of guys? I know Patrick knows one of the guys that you were with. Who is it, Patty?
Bob Walker, Sumter County guy where I grew up.
Bob Walker, Cuz Strickland, Mr. Clay Beck were all involved in this thing they called the Turkey Thugs. Tell me a little bit about how all that got started. How did y'all get together? I mean, how did the guy from Nebraska, Natchez, Mississippi, and
Yeah,
Alabama get together?
yeah, the sniper. That's what they called Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
I never got to hunt with him, but I guided a fella out of Tennessee, Gary West, and
Okay.
he had hunted with Bob Walker a lot. So, uh, you know, and Bob was close to Cuz, the same as Bubba. He grew up with Cuz, a lot of hunting stories together through their youth. And these were mostly people that Cuz had did a lot of hunting with on their places. And actually, they weren't looking for the big screen TV. They're just doing their job, whether it be an outfitter or guest ranch or guest, hunt club. That's that Cuz obviously met a lot of these people, hunted with them, knew that they knew what they were doing, and he just started making calls and
Really?
asking. He always talked about thugs. You're a turkey thug or you're
Yeah.
a thug. That was his way of saying that you know what you're doing, I guess. And um,
That's a
we
compliment.
yeah, we weren't doing it for notoriety. It was just our job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he kind of handpicked them. We'd done a lot of shows with Hunting the Country previous to the whole Turkey Thug rollout, and
Hmm.
had some great hunts with Tom Kelly and Cuz's daughter Loran, and Cuz himself. So, and we'd done a lot of hunts. The nice thing about Hunting the Country was Mossy Oak would send camera folks out in a
Yeah.
bunch of camo, big box of
Oh
camo,
yeah.
set
Yeah.
us and all the guides up. And of course, growing up, Mossy Oak was always my favorite camera. We talked about that when you guys were in Turkey
That's
Camp.
right. That's what
How
we were
that
talking about,
bottom,
the original Bottomland.
when they rolled that bottom land back out, I was real happy.
Nah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what most of us wear. I love the original. A lot of them wear the newer version of the Bottomland, but both of them are. I mean, I've worn it. It's just kind of it's almost like a superstition thing now. I'm not wearing anything else.
absolutely. Like your favorite hat.
Yeah, that's right.
Browning stitched hat that's Mossy Oak faded out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But just brings back a lot of memories. And that's how Cuz picked the thugs. It was just a text or a call. I was walleye fishing up in Pier, and when he texted or called me, and I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I'd be thrilled to do it.
Oh yeah, sure. That's how it went down.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Well, you showed us, when we go into your camp, they've got this definitely promoting your place, White Oak Outfitters in Mills, Nebraska. I mean, y'all do deer hunting, y'all do all kinds of things, but we turkey hunt there. And going in, you're not going to find a more top notch crew of people. We go a lot of places, we do a lot of things, we go all over the country hunting. We've been to a lot of outfitters, and I mean, by far, the most hospitality, the people who are just like us, and the people who know what they're doing. That you have actual turkey hunters that are guiding and that are helping and that are. It's just you can tell they love it like we do, and it's fun when you're with people, like-minded people. And man, I can't say enough about your place. It's turkey heaven. It just is. It's the camp atmosphere and everything. Yeah.
Appreciate it. 30 years of operation this year. It's hard to believe that it's went by that fast.
Yeah. Did I
Brody,
see it?
Brody, good friends with Jonah. He's been coming out here since he was this little guy. So
Yeah.
he loves it the same way we all do.
Yeah, for sure.
It's neat
Yeah.
to see the passion and the cool like me and Brody, we talk about this is like his passion in the video. Like I showed you them 2 boxes of high 8mm videos. I've got thousands and thousands of hours of kills and hunts and stuff. And so that passion for that, to kind of live it and see it through the camera, is something that's, it's pretty neat to me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and that's
Clay,
kind of
tell us about you. And Clay guides me when I go out there. And but tell us about. I don't think the guys heard the story of the first time you your dad sent you out to guide a customer. Remember that story?
Yeah.
Tell us about that one.
I was 10 or 11, and Dad had a friend slash customer. He would pay kind of a trespass fee to come hunt on the ranch, and I'd read an article about calling these turkeys. We didn't have internet then, obviously. It's probably 85, 86. And I love the outdoor life. The folks were subscribed to that. And so I read an article on all the do's and don'ts and setups of calling. And I didn't even have any decoys back then. They were them foam crappy ones.
yeah.
But I found my mom had stored my grandpa Martin's old Lynch box call, and so I practiced with that, and Dad kind of showed me how to make some of the calls, and then just trying to get. We had a pretty good flock of turkeys growing up around the place there where we hunted out there, Chaz. And so I grew up around those things, hearing them all the time, and just try to mimic the yelp. And so this guy was Dr. Stivers was from Lincoln, and Dad had me take him out north of the place there, about a mile from where you shot your first bird this year. Well, and we got set up. They were strutting out on this big meadow prairie, and there was just a row of timber in there. I could drive you right to the spot. And we got down in these oak trees over this little ridge, and the horizon in front of us was about 15 yards. We were down in this kind of, and hit the box, the yelp real loud, and you could hear him. I was like, ooh, kind of got the blood flowing, and hit it again. It's getting a lot closer, and at 11, blood's really flowing. Pretty soon he crests over that ridge there, 15 yards in front of us, and you could just hear him. And my heart's about to blow out of my chest. And he finally shoots him at 10 yards, I bet. Full shot, no decoys. The bird just came into the call, and probably more of your Eastern hunting style tactic with no decoys. But ever since then, I was for life. I spent every spring chasing turkeys. From there on, it was just in my blood.
It's like
That's awesome. 11 years old. I remember, when you told me that, I can't even imagine.
Guiding a doctor out of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Guy and a doctor, 11 years old, calling him in with a Lynch box call.
I think I might have had some old BDU camo on, probably from that old stuff.
So when we were at your camp, you showed us a little video of you and Tom Kelly. I'd like to talk about that a little bit. He's obviously got a ton of fame with the 10th Legion already. one of the most famous, or probably the most famous turkey, if there is a turkey author out there, and no doubt it's Tom Kelly. He's the man, you know. And notice a video of you and the Tom Kelly hunting. You know, I know there's a lot of people that would like to, you know, play golf with Jack Nicklaus and do things like that, but you know, I think I've heard Cuz Strickland say something like this. He's like, but hunting with Tom Kelly is my golfing with Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods, and being able to. So you've done that, and not only have you done that, I believe I heard right. You actually fanned in his first turkey. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Him and Cuz both, and Tom got to shoot the only double he ever shot in his life.
That's right. He did say that in the video. Like I was locked in on that video because I'm a huge Tom Kelly fan, and that was pretty awesome. I just would, you know, I think I heard him say he's like this place. You know, Tom Kelly is really good with words. He said something like, "It's one of the best places he's ever been." You know, I know that he's been in South Alabama. I bet when you go to your place, it's like heaven, just like we think.
Yeah, yeah. He said, you know, he's told that, you know, if you hunted the Rio in Texas or the Merriam's up here, that you ought to wear a white linen suit with a white Panama hat just to make the fair.
Yeah.
He's very good with his words. Yes.
I liked when he said that you know, he's a purist and he wasn't a decoy guy, right? And then he said, "Well, I kind of liked it myself, and I may try it out, or I kind of he didn't think it'd work like that, and I may try it out myself." Yeah,
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
yeah.
Tell us about that hunt with Tom Kelly. I thought that was just a great video. Tell us about that hunt, Clay. As far
Well,
as
John, my brother John and I took him and Cuz in the. I think we had Cuz was videoing and then another cameraman. So it was, you know, when you do those sets, it's not super easy to get 4 or 5 people all hidden in the woods here. You know, we don't have the foliage like you guys do down in the south. Especially, I think that was late April, so our trees hadn't even leaved out yet. But yeah, they were. It was probably the first part of May. But you know, when Cuz told me, he's like, "Hey, listen, man, don't be doing all this no decoys, and don't be pulling this fan stuff out." You know, and I thought, man, that's gonna be tough sledding because our birds are visual here. You know, they have to see something to really commit, and I suppose it's just the habitat and area that they grow up that way. You know, your birds in the south are quite the opposite. So that really set the bar high for us. We're like, you know, our goal as an outfitter is, and especially doing a video with Tom Kelly and Cuz, is to be successful. And so, you know, we've all got a few tricks up our sleeve, and we're like, okay, well, what if we sneak behind Cuz and the camera and Tom, and you know, so that's what I was doing. I was, you know, sneaking around behind him with this fan, and I think Cuz finally caught on. And of course, I was rubbing him a little, and like, you know, we got to try this. You know, they couldn't believe it even, but they maybe didn't see me doing it behind them, but it worked on some birds. And so we were discussing that quite a bit, and Cuz just never did believe me. And Tom was like, "Yeah, I bet it probably does work," but like he said in his video, he's like, "I'm just a little sneakier than Cuz, or I just hit it a little better." That's what it was, you know, that he didn't believe me. He's a little more of a politician than Cuz.
So y'all had been fanning behind Cuz Strickland and Tom Kelly. That's
down
actually
here.
Hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah, down here in Nebraska.
yeah.
And he shot a bird down here that we fanned. Actually, they didn't. I don't think they knew we fanned that bird. We were behind them, you know. And then that's when I told Cuz, I'm like, "You realize that bird wouldn't have came in had we not been fanning behind you in the camera." And I don't know. I think he actually kind of seen us out of the corner of his eye, but that, you know, he still didn't believe it, and that's
So y'all are back there doing like this.
that was kind of the argument through the whole hunt, was like, I just don't believe it. You know, I don't believe you can do that. So I'm like, let's try it, you know. So we're hunting these tribal birds, which is similar to public ground, a lot of pressure, everybody calling to them.
Yeah.
You know, these birds were 150, 200 yards, and they would not come to us, no matter how pretty you sounded. They would kind of work the other way, in fact. And they had a couple hens with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know, it's the only thing left at this point. We either need to go back to the pickup, load up, and go find something else, or we can try fanning them, you know. So he's like, "Well, give it a shot." And, you know, cuz it's filming off the shoulder, old school,
Sure.
which none of them ever do when they come out. They're always very adamant
Tripod.
about being on a tripod.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And so that whole video of the fan club uh, was off the shoulder with Cuz. And
Wow.
the other cameraman, Jacopo Ray, went with John and Ben somewhere. They were hunting somewhere else. But anyway, long story short, I called those 2-3 Jakes in, or fanned them in. And I looked back at Cuz and I was like, see, it does work. And Cuz is like, oh man, he's like, I could call Jake's up with a Coke bottle. And I was like,
That's good.
I was like, just wait. And pretty soon, it was probably another 10 minutes. The 3 longbeards come in, and I'm like, okay, we're in the game now. And
That's right.
I said, they're coming, get ready. I said, do you want, Tom had 2 tribal tags. I was like, do you want Tom to shoot 2? And Cuz like, just don't talk about that. Let him shoot one. So obviously, Tom Kelly had heard me say that, and she shot an over and under, and they come right into 10, 12 steps, right in our face. And Tom rolls one, and he remembered me saying that because, and he rolls the other one. And of course, we're all elated. And I look over, he just starts chuckling. He's like, only double I ever shot, you know, something to that matter. But it was a memory definitely we'll never forget, you know. And Cuz got it all on the shoulder.
Got it all on film right there on the shoulder.
Yeah. And Tom wrote a book, 2 chapters in a book about that. He's written several books. That one was called Infirm Opinions, and I think it was just kind of a collaboration of what he turkey hunting since the 1930s. You know,
Sure.
what he kind of his perspective of the only way to do it. So this whole new genre of hunting to him was things that he'd heard about or maybe seen but never experienced. So it was pretty neat to do that with somebody that had hunted for turkeys. You know, I mean, he'd hunted turkeys for 70 years, you know.
I was going to say, how old was Tom when he was up there?
He was 82, I believe. Yeah. And he's still alive. But yeah, quite a guy to hunt with. And I'm telling you, you could sit around camp with him and listen to his story. You know, he marched into Selma and into Alabama there when that whole deal was going on. He was, you know, I think a colonel. Well, that's why they call him the Colonel Tom Kelly with the United States
Yeah,
Army.
that's right. Yeah, I mean, they wrote that.
So,
the most
so his
famous one.
stories, yeah, are just he's
old
the
French
Fred.
Legion.
I say he's the Fred Bear of turkey hunting. You know,
Man.
really.
I love
That's
him,
wild.
man. He has a way with words. Look who we got back on the stage over here, Mr. Brody Boes. Oh,
Hey, guys.
Brody, what's up?
Sorry about that.
No, glad you can make it back. Yeah, we did want to ask you a few questions. I know we just talked with Clay about this Tom Kelly hunt and some stuff about being the turkey thug, and we wanted to talk to you why we got you on. You know, Brody has done. I kind of got in with Brody when he filmed one of me and my dad's hunts over there at White Oak Outfitters, and he said, I'm gonna film it, and I was like, okay, and it ended up turning out great. You know, I've got it on all our Instagram things and TikToks and all that stuff, and you know, I think, you know, I guess what I want to know, how did you really, you know, your passion for this videography stuff is you've really done some really good stuff. The stuff I think I talked about on a few episodes ago that we've posted, and we've got some really good stuff. But tell me a little bit of how'd you get started into thinking that might be something you wanted to do?
Yeah, mostly it was just being out hunting, and you go back and you tell stories to your buddies and everything. And it's one of those deals where I was like, just take a camera with me, figure it out. So that's what I did. I got a Canon Rebel T3i with like a 70 to 300, really cheap lens started out with, and made it work. Watched a lot of YouTube videos and figured it out from there.
Self-taught then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
technology helped me out.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we're always cracking out on
But-
stuff. We have our own things, and that's your thing. You know, I think it's cool because, like you were talking about while we were up there eating breakfast, you know, where we all get into actually shooting a turkey. I know you love that too, but you really love being able to go on a hunt and be able to capture it. You know, you were with me when I killed my turkey up there, and that's first he was like, "Man, I'm sorry we didn't get it on film." I was like, "Dude, I'm about killing it. It's fine, you know." But you wanted it, and I wanted it. It would have been great. But I mean, I'm sure we'll have more opportunities. But
that's happened more than once. It never usually happens where I say, "Hey, we gotta leave the camera and go after this bird." Nobody's ever like, "Nah, no, let's not."
Yeah, we have this bird gobbling in our ears over here, and Brody pitches down the other way, and Brody, you know, we had all this big plan to get this, you know, single season slam on film, and it didn't take me 0.2 seconds. He said, "You want to go after him?" I said, "Yep." We just totally broke strategy, and it worked out. Hey, he actually fanned in my first bird.
Yeah.
Brody's job, man. You can, of course, cell phone, you know, picture it, but when you're set up with a big deal camera like that, you've got to have the perfect setup, man. And down here, it's really tough.
Yeah, it's hard enough to kill them.
Up there, it's still tough, but it's just so hard. It's got to hit when you get set up, you know.
Well, it's perfect.
Be a little more patient, which we all struggle with, but.
Most of the time, it's so perfect for us because you guys have heard them birds just gobble their heads off on the roost all morning long, and then if you got the right setup, they'll just pitch down right to you, and you can't ask for it to be any better. But it works pretty good. I mean, the best part is when you get a good one on video and you can go back to camp, throw it up on the TV, and everybody just gets to sit there and watch it. And I mean, you can't beat that when you're turkey camp, can you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I wish he would have had it on film though, because Adam claims that he shot the beard off of that one. So if we'd have had it in slow motion, we could have seen the beard.
Yeah,
when it came off.
Chaz took his nose up to the.
I went up
beard.
there. I wish I'd have filmed it when I got back. Man, had been back, you know, for a while. We walk out there, and I heard that Adam had one that was just barely a gobbler. I said, yeah. And I walk out there, and they're all hanging up. We got pictures of them, phenomenal pictures of all of it. And we walk up there, and Rigden's sitting there, you know, he's just over there, just out of it. And we walk up, and I said, I got that beard, and I said, Jakeish.
Smells like a Jake.
Adam's freaking head about blew off, and then he said, I shot the beard off of it. Rigden said, who shot them spurs off?
He's got a big pattern.
These guys won't let you have anything.
I know.
I'm telling you, you do something, you know, I just got into this turkey hunting thing. Chaz got me addicted to it, and I crack out on it and decide, I think I'm going to try to get the Grand Slam. You know, well, then we get that. Me and Scott go do that. And I was like, well, let's try to do it in a single season. And then we get that done, and then these guys, you know, calling it a Jake. They got.
I had to slip around and apologize in Brody's ear. I said, "Look, man, we're gonna get. I don't care if he's got the biggest bird hanging on the tree. We're still gonna clown him. We're not making fun of you and your guiding expertise. No, I'm just telling you."
I'll tell you what. I'll call in 2-year-olds every day if they do it.
All day.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, every gobbler's a trophy, no doubt about it. But, you know, tell us a little bit else y'all do out at White Oak, Clay. I mean, I know you do a lot of deer hunts. I mean, are there anything else that you guys specialize in that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, the pheasant. We have some ground in South Dakota, and we should take you guys up there next spring, but it's exclusively set up for pheasant. The habitat's phenomenal. Yeah. We have a lot of native birds in there nesting right now, hopefully hatched pretty soon here. Yeah. But it's phenomenal pheasant. So
I've only done that once. I'd love to do that. That'd be great.
Yeah, y'all need to get a group, come up, bring Rigden.
Video.
You guys are, and have Brody. It's it's obviously quite separate from turkey, but the camaraderie part of it is phenomenal. And you guys, the way y'all cut up with each other, and that's what's cool about what you guys are doing is your passion for the hunting and all the jabbing and camaraderie. It's even another level of camaraderie because when Pelosi or Patrick
Pelosi
or
up there.
Chaz misses, you're gonna bust them.
Oh yeah.
So
No
it's
no punches held back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this group right here, you better have some thick skin, brother. That's all I got to tell you.
yeah. I get a kick out of it. It's fun.
It's fun.
We look forward to you guys.
My wife's always like, you and Chaz, like, y'all are supposed to be best friends, and y'all talk to each other like you hate each other.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, she gets to see us on vacation when I gotta straighten you out on vacation. She gets to see us.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's always good.
I thought it'd be the other way around.
Clay, tell them about the our setup this year. We had we had your son's first kill. So when Clay's son becomes this worldwide professional turkey hunter, his first kill was mine. Okay,
with Chaz Brown. Yeah. Well, Rigdon had come up to join you guys, and it was awesome to see Ryan. We'd had a lot of great hunts together, and it'd been quite a time since Ryan been up here. He deer hunted, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago was the last time I seen him. But I was kind of in a dilemma. My mom was going to see Jonah's baby, and I couldn't have her watch the boys, so I just went to bed. I'm like, okay, boys, you guys want to go turkey hunting in the morning? Like, yeah. So we got all their camo laid out, and they were jacked. I remember when my dad first took me deer hunting, and you don't forget those things. So they're crashed out, and I roll them out a little after 4, and they're of course tired, but it's not like going to school. They jumped up and they're ready to roll. Got them all dressed, and I was like, I don't know how we're gonna even do this going to the lodge to get you guys. Of course, I'm always running a little late. Chaz and Rigdon were, I don't know, they were rubbing me a little. I'm used to that. Yeah, I'm used to that. So I'm thinking, how are we gonna do this? I don't think all 5 of us can sit in one spot. In that area, obviously, there's not a lot of cover. So I dropped Chaz off and Ryan, and I asked Ryan, take my oldest boy, Emmett, and just put him in your lap. I left him my big kind of parka rain jacket, and he pulled that over because it was cold that
it was pretty cold.
And the wind was biting. I'm like, I don't know if he can handle it, but Ryan kept him tucked in there and kept that coat over him. And me and Tommy went down and scouted another roost where we originally were going to go. There was 4 strutters in there, and there was nothing there that night. So I've tried that too many times. And when you have a customer and nothing gobbles on the tree and you're like, well, they were here the day before, it's not a good feeling. Mm-hmm. So I'd seen these 2 gobblers roost the night before where I took Chaz. And so I set him and Ryan and EJ in there, and me and Tommy watched the other roost. Never did see those birds. But a couple deer come by, and of course Tommy, he's all about shooting these deer with his BB gun out the window. So he misses the first one and comes up behind the vehicle, and I mean he lined right out on it. And I think he actually hit it.
I think he smacked her. I saw the video.
I
that was
do,
good.
She jetted, And he's like, "Did she die? Did she die, Dad?" Like he's only 4 and he's already. Yeah, he's ready to do it. But
man, I think that's
Emmett
awesome.
got to sit in Ryan's lap. I told Ryan, I said, "Get some good video because this should be good." And yeah, they did. Pitch down, held up on behind you guys. Finally, come over the road and come right down the road. And Emmett got to experience all that for the first time. So I think he takes him a while to process things. He didn't say a lot. I mean, he was obviously he was pretty cold. And,
oh yeah.
But I'll guarantee you, he never forget that bird gobbling and coming down the road, and then Chaz busted him. So
he'll never forget that. And I love that y'all do that, man. Those boys, man, they're growing up in what we consider paradise. And we talk about taking kids. We're big pushers on bringing the kids. I love that got to happen. That's awesome. We talk about You know, we're a dying breed. You know, there's not
Absolutely.
we have to push these kids. We got to show them the way that we like that we do things, and hopefully they love it the way we do. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's monumental that we do so because,
Yeah,
like you said, yeah, there ain't going to be any of us left if we don't. So,
that's
That's
right.
right.
Hmm. Well,
all about passing it down.
that's
That's
right.
right.
Passing it
Everybody
down.
else is going to do it if we don't.
That's
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little boy. I talked to him this morning. He said, "Daddy, when's deer season?" I was
Yeah.
like, November. We got a while.
Well, for Clay and them, it's a whole lot sooner than later. You know, they kind of roll right into it.
Yeah. So y'all roll right into what's next for y'all. I
We'll
guess is
do
it
pheasant first part of October
okay?
and the whole month of October basically, and then roll into archery deer early November, late October, and rifle deer mid November. Then we pheasant hunt a lot through November too, and into
Yeah.
December.
And
So
y'all cat.
it's busy time. Yeah.
When's rut out there, Clay? Typically.
Usually the second weekend in November. They're
Yeah.
pre-rutting first week. Yeah, you'll see a little breeding activity in the first week, but yeah, it's always a fun time too. A little more
Well,
chaotic, as
let's not
Brody
forget
knows.
you're a full time cattle farmer as well.
Yeah,
Correct. So never mind.
rancher, not farmer.
Rancher. There you go. Rancher. I'm sorry. Gotcha.
Farmers
Yeah.
do row crop.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Straighten me out. I grew up with a bunch
Clay,
of row
tell us
crop.
one more thing. Tell us. I I think you're getting not this time. I was hunting with you the time before. You're telling me about the history of fanning. I don't know the history of the. I think it was the Indians out there, where that came from. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I read an article in a magazine about it. Probably I don't know. I don't remember if it was Field and Stream or Outdoor Life or what. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and it talked about the Native Americans. I would imagine at this time it was the Sioux in this area, and they of course invented the wing bone call, but they said that when they couldn't call them in with the wing bones, they had them fans on the front of their longbows, and of course most of this country didn't have a lot of timber, so there were a lot of I would call prairie birds probably similar to New Zealand where they roost on fence posts, but I'm sure there was some trees, obviously. And when they couldn't call them in, they would creep over the hills. And, our county's Kiapaha County, which means Turtle Butte, or basically Turtle Back, because of the rolly hills. But they would creep over them hills, they said, with those longbows and raise them up, over the horizon on those birds, and they'd come charging in. So after reading that, I started carrying one in the side pocket of, your camo cargo pants. And I guess last case, I didn't have any faith really in it, but I remember what I read. And there was a cut bank over here north of my house. You guys know where that is. And me and Doc Harvey Miller from Valdosta, Georgia, stripped down because the birds were on the other side of the river. And this river isn't super deep. We walked across, got to the other side, and there's no cover, just a big, probably 8-foot cut bank. And we creep up that sandy edge and get over the edge and are kind of peeking out through the binoculars. They're out there 150, 200 yards, and tried calling to them. They're henned up. They're not going to come. So I'm like, oh, there's nothing else left to do. Kind of similar to Cuz and Tom Kelly's hunt. So I pull that fan out. You always kept them soft so you could spread them out, and popped it up there and started doing the kind of back and forth. Pretty soon, one of them just looked at it, and they get this weird fight look in their face. Like you can just see it in their eyes. They'll drop their head, and then they just start doing what I call the death wobble toward you, where their breasts are just shaking. And I think you rolled that bird at 15 yards. But after that, I was like, that's for real. It's for real. And then you guys know Mark Winger, who guided your dad, Eddie.
Yeah.
His wife's a taxidermist. He helps her with a lot of it. So he started taking a number 9 wire and hot gluing it to that fan. We'd dry them out, borax them, and then he'd fill that in with hot glue, and then he'd run it through them old flambeau decoys and hook it back up so it couldn't spin. And so that was the first really fan and decoy that I think anybody ever had. and they were them
So it's
rubber.
possible that it all started right there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Well, before the
the-
Indian, after the Indians.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people have done it at other places in the South, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but the Indians were definitely the first
That's
to do
all.
it.
That's all.
Yeah, and that thing. I remember a cameraman from Osseo, Yak Ray. He nicknamed it ET, because them old decoys look horrible,
Yeah, I've seen them.
But it worked, man, and it just blew his mind away that Gobbler would come run into that thing to beat it up, So ET killed a lot of turkeys.
What was the time frame of that? Like what year was that, Clay?
I would say those were the ET was before, Tom Kelly and Cuz was in 08 or 09, and I'd been fanning since around 99 to 2000. And he'd done hunts, he'd videoed hunts. That's what I was saying about hunting the country. They'd send a camera crew out to video 2 customers and make a hunting story out of it. I mean, that's a win-win for everybody. Win-win for them, win-win for the outfitter. And so when we started killing birds over that ET decoy, that was early 2000s, in between 08 and 2000, probably 04, 05. Yeah.
The OG of turkey fanning right there, Clay Beck. May have been the inventor of it.
Might have been.
Yeah, well,
other than the Indians.
I know that was the first show Cuz put on TV, and next year you seen 1 or 2, and then 2 years after that it blew up. I talked to Cuz about making a fan, and he's like, "Oh, everybody's going to change the patent a little. It's not really something that's, I don't know, going to be super marketable because everybody's going to make one." And that's what happened. And he was right. He knew the industry.
But your boy Brody, that's the first one I've ever had fanned in. I've never seen that before, really done it. It was kind of nuts. I mean, we tried one other time. I think me and you, my dad, one time. That was a different situation. But we snuck up on them, and sure enough, these 2 turkeys just, as soon as they saw us, man, it was like they locked in and they were strutting. They were coming right to us.
Yeah, I don't even think we called at them. Sometimes you catch them in the right mood, and it's
just like,
game
exactly
over.
Right. They got to be right mood or don't work.
You talk about that look in their eye.
Yeah,
they do it.
When it works and they come running like that, it's hard to beat.
To me, it's as fun as a storybook call in. It's just.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah, that was great.
You stay in the game with it. We got first hunt with me and Clay 2 years ago. It was the same thing. Got beat off the roost, and Clay educates me on fanning. He picks me up in the truck and educates me. Said, "I want you to take this fan right here and walk down this hedgerow right here and just get that mouth call, and just start popping at them and just back and forth." And I'm thinking the whole time, kind of like, Cuz, I'm like, oh, okay.
I remember that.
You sound crazy. I mean, it just sounds so far-fetched to
Bizarre.
us. Probably not to you guys up there or hunters that learn hunting up there in the wide open country, but to us, it just sounds insane, when you first talk about it. And we got out there, and I did the same thing. He was working the other way, and I just popped at him, and I held that thing way up, turned it where I could see it, and I just kind of backed in behind it. I had my phone in my hands. I was like, I'm fixing to get all of this on camera. Well, then that don't work because you can't film with your camera and hold the fan and all at the same time. So you have to drop it at the last minute. But he gets over that ridge, and he just kind of tucks him wings and he's coming, just like that.
The death wobble.
Yeah. Death wobble is that's a fact. That's a fact. So.
Yeah, it's just another little effective strategy that, and when nothing else works.
Yeah, little trick up your sleeve.
Yeah. It changed I feel like it. I know as a guide, it changed my success level. It took it another from say 50-50 to at least 75%, of getting the bird, That's just how I look at it. It don't always work. Sometimes it spooks them a little. So
yeah, I've seen it down here before where I was there. I wasn't doing it, but I've seen them. I've seen them kind of. They didn't really spook, but they just kind of. Man, we're getting out of Dodge. They weren't wanting to fight today. but I've only tried it twice. Once down there and with Brody over here, so it was pretty amazing to me. I said, I may give that another shot.
It's
To,
fun.
It
It's
is.
fun when it works.
When you can get one that close with a fan, that's the closest I've ever had. Is when I was out.
oh yeah,
Most of this fan, but that was that.
your audio's messing up again.
Audio's messing up Scott, but Scott's
but
talking. He's got
Scott's
that.
got an awesome video.
Do you have that video loaded?
I don't have it with me. I should have.
All right, well,
I gotta do better.
Then you posted.
He's
I think
got-
you posted it on Instagram.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like
on
3
Instagram.
yards
It's on
from. I mean,
Spurs and Spreads.
5 feet from this turkey. Just sitting there popping at him, and it's a gobbler. It's just a half fan gobbler. It wasn't a pretty one.
He didn't want to shoot.
I guess a predator or something had gotten it. And he didn't want to shoot that one, but man, it's just right on, and it creates so much curiosity in them.
Yeah, I've reached out and hit him with it like that close.
Yeah,
Scott was shaking it
Do
out.
that. It didn't. He wouldn't let me quite get there, but I mean, I got it within probably a foot or two of him a couple times.
Yeah,
Scott,
it's crazy.
And he,
Scott, I can't believe you
off
did
and
that
then-
with that. I can't believe you did that with that DSD strutter decoy. That thing's so heavy.
They are heavy. They are.
I like
heavy.
how Mark had. He had the like the drawer handle bolted to the back of
yeah.
his, so you.
That
Yeah.
he went from the old steak, and then he started putting that. I still have that old original with the drawer handle on the back.
Yeah,
He had
that's awesome.
1/2-inch OSB board in there, and then he'd cut that. He started cutting them decoys in half so he could hold them, and then he'd staple that all the way around into that OSB board and paint it. He was the original fabricator.
The original fabricator.
Good times.
Oh, Sparky. Isn't that what y'all call him?
Sparky.
Sparky. I like old Sparky. You could tell he's seen a lot of turkeys go down. There's no
Yeah.
doubt. He's
He's
talking
probably
about
there
his
25 years.
Yeah, I feel like when we start talking, he's just like, But I'm thinking he probably knows more about turkeys than we've ever dreamed of knowing. We're over here.
He's more like Bob Walker sniper style hunt. I used to be a run and gunner, and well, patience kills more birds than anything, I guess. But
That's right.
Well,
I'm starting to learn that as I get older. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
run and gun as much.
Well, Clay, yeah, with that in mind, I mean, you've probably seen a lot of turkeys die. And I know you started that passion when you were young, 11, calling one in with a lynch box call and the turkey tug thing. But is there like one hunt that sticks out more than any other?
Probably obviously the first bird at 11, and I would say that fan hunt with Tom Kelly.
Yeah, that's hard to beat.
It's hard to top that.
I don't think I could possibly. That's unbelievable. I can't even imagine what that was like. And then having it all caught on film, and then that just makes it even cooler. When I saw
And hearing
that,
Cuz say, "I take it back."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it all. Yeah.
yeah,
It was good stuff, man.
yeah, man.
There's always a lot of standout hunts,
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably the top tier,
Well, Clay,
And that one with Harvey Miller, the first one I found in. I mean, I remember it like yesterday.
yeah. Well, I mean, because that's kind of where it all got going, right? I mean, you pull a fan out of your cargo pants, and here you go, and you're like, okay, we're gonna try this out, and then Sparky makes one, and it just next thing you know, you're killing one with Tom Kelly, and then it blows up. Yeah.
Well, that's all pre-internet days of,
Yeah,
Outdoor Life, Field and Stream, and Jim Zumbo articles, and it was old school, and I'm happy I got to live in that era before the
Man.
digital world came out.
yeah, no kidding.
Clay, I got one more for you, and we'll let you go. I guess you being a guide now and having guided so many kills, how'd you transition from being the one shooting to being able to get enthused about guiding it? How does that transition go as far as it being a part of your everyday life?
Every guy's dream in the beginning was to make outdoor videos. When Real Tree and Mossy Oak and Primos and all them started out, and Tom Miranda, Sandy Brady, and all those guys, you grew up kind of watching those on cassette tape, and so that was kind of the dream. But after a while, talking to a lot of video and movie makers in the hunting industry, when it went from beta to digital, it was kind of like so many people jumped in on it, late 80s, early 90s, when it went digital, that really had to kind of take a step back and say, okay, what can we do that not everybody else has? And that's a beautiful ranch with phenomenal hunting on it. And so that's when the idea came in, like, let's do an outfitter, make enough money to pay your land taxes in this day and age. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of how it was formed. But as we did more and more of it, I mean, obviously love the hunting aspect of it, but to share that with a customer or a client um, is really just as rewarding as pulling the trigger yourself, because you get to see it from a bird's eye view of how it affects you guys, like the emotions it creates and the memories you get to create. So it's pretty special in that sense. Not that I don't. I mean, I like to hunt and still shoot them, but I get just as much enjoyment and excitement out of watching somebody from some other state do it, whether it be their first Merriam or completing their slam or just a heck of a hunt.
Yeah.
I think in that concept, it's probably more rewarding than shooting it yourself. And so you kind of have to transition in your mind to it, and it's a blast. It'd be fun to do the slam, one year by ourselves. I'm not saying that it wouldn't, but when you guys come to White Oak, it's like a family reunion.
Yeah.
It's like get to see you guys, catch up on your family life, catch up on your hunts, and so it's our way of traveling out of our county, but you guys are coming here. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
You took the words out of my mouth, Clay. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, when we come up there, it's not an out experience. It's like we're at camp with our friends and our buddies and hanging out. I mean, you pick right up where you left off. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's what makes it so cool, is just the passion that you guys have for it and the camaraderie. And I mean, your guides, I mean, we'll cut up and they cut up and give it right back to us. And it's, that makes it so fun, because it's just a cool, laid back atmosphere where it's no different than us hanging out at the hunting camp in Alabama with our buddies. It's just 17 hours away.
Yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
some big fancy lodge. It's just an old camp that's been the same way for 30 years,
It's just
That
right.
that to me makes it even cooler. It's not a
Yeah.
big commercial operation where it's everybody's on a time scale and, hey, you're going to eat at this time and you're going to do this here. And it's just, man, you're just there and hanging out, and you guys do what you want to do. If you need us, we're here.
Yeah, just roll
Real
with
easy.
it.
Real easy. Yeah.
Very
That's what you want when you're out of town.
And in one of the
Great,
prettiest
relatable
landscapes
guys.
we've ever hunted.
Great
one of the-
relatable guides is
That's
what
right.
y'all have done too. That separates y'all to the elite is there's not only one Clay, there's 6 of them. So
Yeah, they're all professional.
yeah.
And like I said, we can't say enough about your operation, man. We love it. Like I said, it's one of the most beautiful landscapes you're going to be on too. Your ranch is beautiful. Your place is awesome. We can't say it. Like I said, I think it is after this year. I mean, there, like you said, there's been some memories there that I'm going to have forever. I plan to take my little boy there. I've had some memories with my dad there that I'm not going to forget. The blind that Brody that story where I had to climb out the blind. That was one of the best ones. He got that was a good one. We'll go somewhere else. But no joke, Clay. Like, man, we're really happy that we really appreciate you coming on, both of you, you and Brody, and I mean, telling us a little bit of your stories. We definitely plan on having you in the future. But as far as like, if you haven't looked him up, White Oak Outfitters in Mills, Nebraska. What's your website, Clay?
It's www.whiteoakoutfitters.com.
www.whiteoak.
There was one formed in Texas quite a bit later. So
Oh.
if you see hog hunting on it, it's not us.
It's not. They don't have that. Yeah, they don't have that. But we'll definitely, we'll as many. I know it took us a while to get with you, but if we have anybody interested, we'll definitely steer them your way, no doubt about it, because you guys run a top notch operation, and man, we can't thank y'all enough for what you've done for us, and just getting to know you guys, man. It's been awesome. It's been great.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your group and what you do with bringing Eddie on your hunts. That's pretty special.
Yeah, I should talk about that more, with my dad. That's something, those are memories that I'm going to have the rest of our lives. And
Absolutely.
those are just things, that's why I bring him. Thank God these guys, to go on what we call the turkey tour with my best friends and get to do the thing that I love doing the most, and with my dad, who's been my best friend most of all my life. It's hard to beat stuff like that, honestly, and that's what it brings people. Turkey hunting brings people like us together, just like you're saying, getting to share those moments with each other. But it's also something if you can enjoy it with your family, like you're talking about raising with your little boys and getting to that point one day, man. It's just, I hope my little boy will enjoy it the way I do. I know we had success one time and he loves it so far, but he's 7. We'll see how it goes. But I hope I'm traveling the country and hitting your place up when I'm 75 years old.
I'm betting he will.
Yeah.
Hey, I down the road, bring bulls up to play. I said I can't wait for a few years in the future. We can bring boys up there.
Yeah.
Oh, heck
that'd be
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
My boys love going to lodge. They love.
I have a feeling our boys and your boys are gonna hit it off just fine. They're probably gonna want to be too busy down in that river down there, but
I had Tommy over there the other day, and I looked down, come back from hunting, and looked down the river, and him and my brother Bo's son Boone are both in the river, swimming naked, and I'm like, well, they had their undies on, but I'm like, man, that's got to be cold,
real cold.
Yeah, and this river flows significantly more than ours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
get
getting
there and you go.
Yeah.
They were catfishing and swimming.
That's what boys are supposed to do.
That's
That's
right.
good.
That's right.
Supposed to be right.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait for that. Again, guys, I know your time's important. So, man, look, we really appreciate y'all coming on and being part of the show. And we're definitely going to have you on again. We look forward to coming back up to White Oak again, too. And maybe we can do a little pheasant hunt. Maybe we can get you guys down to Alabama, Mississippi way one day. We might squeeze a turkey hunt, deer hunt. We'll figure something out. Catch it on video. It should be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys,